Brilliant. So, good evening, everybody. I'm highly excited about the call we have tonight. So tonight it's not about how we get our next customer. Tonight it's really about personal development. And the harder you work on yourself, the more you achieve anyway in life for yourself or in your business, whatever you want to achieve. So it's just a magic formula. And this workshop Liesl gave recently when we had a Thursday morning workshop. And we have Thursday morning the HRM in Cape Town combined with a workshop. And I was in that HRM and afterwards in the workshop. And I was like, I mean, I know Liesl now since a while, but I was in awe about this workshop. And I begged Liesl actually to make this call for us tonight, exactly what she did on that call. So I really recommend have pen and paper next to you. Maybe you want to take a photo of the one or the other slide. The call is recorded as well. But life is always simply the best. And you maybe have later on also a couple of questions. I will end off, and there's where you really need pen and paper with our actual promotion so that you also miss out nothing there, because this is also part of personal development, always being on the point, knowing all the promotions and implementing this in your goal setting as well. But now without any further ado, over to our originally an attorney, found out that she actually loves people helping more than divorcing them. And because of a personal result and personal commitment, especially this year, it's absolutely stunning the goals she achieves all of a sudden. And this is why we really are in for a special treat and magic information here. She has developed her business to a level of the Active World team. She was already 2 times with Herbalife on vacations. So she's really, really a goal-getter. So please welcome with me our Active World team, all the way from Cape Town, Liesl Jardim. Yay!
Thank you very much for that introduction, Bia. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the opportunity to share this with everyone. So it's a bit of a mouthful, the topic that I chose. I was actually quite excited when they asked me for the HRM that I could choose my own topic that I wanted to train on. And with quite a lot of personal challenges that I've had happening this year, I realized how important personal development really is to success, not just in life in general, but also in your business. But if you are at a point where you feel like you need to start making certain changes, there are a couple of areas where you can start focusing on and things that you can do to get yourself moving in the right direction. Can we get the next slide, please, Via? Okay, so hopefully I'll get this right. So you can see me over here. I've got a glass of water in my hand that's about half full. So I hope everyone's microphones are still open. How heavy do you think this glass of water is? Would someone like to venture a guess?
For as long as you can hold it up.
300 grams.
What did you say, Ria? Or someone said something?
I said 300 grams.
300 grams, okay.
I say it's as heavy as long as you can hold it up.
Yeah, Ria, you would be right. If I had the weight of the water or the glass in the water isn't actually important. It's for the amount. What is important is the amount of time that I'm actually going to be holding up this glass, because I think if I hold this glass for 5 minutes, I should manage. Shouldn't be a problem. I could probably push it to an hour if I wanted to. And let's say because of all the exercise that I do and the strength training that I do, I can push it for 2 hours. But do you think I'll be managing okay if we've got half a day or a full day? How would it be after 2-3 days? Would I still be able to hold it up? The answer is probably not. And if you think about it, this is what life really is about. We have all these challenges and we have all of these things that keep on stacking up and keep on bombarding us. But how we're able to deal with it depends on how well we focus on things like personal development. So it's important that one has an outlet, that you find a way to manage your challenges or the crisis or things that come your way, because if you don't, the glass can get really, really heavy. So hopefully what I'm going to be sharing with you guys in the next couple of slides will give you some ideas of things that you can do to help you work through the challenges and crises that you have in your life. Next slide, please, Bia. So often people might think, why should they even do personal development? And we start changing ourselves for one of two reasons. It's either because we're inspired by someone or something, or because we've reached a point where we feel we're backed into a corner and we're desperate and we don't have another choice. So it's either inspiration or desperation that gets us there. But what we must remember is that most of what we have today, we have attracted because of the person that we are right now. So if you are happy with where you are right now, with your personal result, with your business, with your relationships in your life, that's all fantastic. But if not, if you know that there are areas, and I challenge anyone out there to say that there isn't an area in their life that they can definitely improve, then you need to start looking at ways in which you can affect that change. Next slide, please, Bea. All right, so we can't always control the external events that are around us. Those things are going to be there. We don't always have a say in how those things pan out. But we can definitely learn to control and adapt how we respond to those things that happen. Jim Rohn said it beautifully when he said that better is not something that you wish for, better is something that you have to become. So how do you become better? A very good place to start is to look at what you are feeding your body and your mind. As Herbalife coaches, I suppose I'm preaching to the converted here. We know that if we feed our body garbage, if we're eating a lot of fast foods, if we're eating a lot of processed foods, it's not just bad for our body, but it starts affecting our mind and how we think as well. So garbage in really is garbage out. But we're not always so clear about what it is that we're feeding our minds on a daily basis. And this could be things like watching television. It could be reading the wrong types of books or magazines, getting stuck in nonsense on Facebook about politics or about life that's bad, or perhaps it could be someone in your life. It could even be a family member that's feeding you a lot of negative information and giving you a lot of negative input in your life. So start in those areas and start seeing, where are you getting your information from? Where is your brain feeding itself from? Next slide, please, Bea. Okay, so there's always help at hand. And if you use awesome guys like Jim Rohn, he'll always have very good advice for you. So he says there are 3 areas that you should focus on. The first area is spiritual. And yeah, I'm not talking specifically about religion. Whatever spirituality is or means to you, that deeper place that you connect to, or that person or being that you connect to, focus on it, develop it, and nurture it. We all need that grounding, spiritual grounding in our lives. Physical, you only have one body to live in, take good care of it. Focus on your physical well-being as well as your physical appearance. And this is quite important. If you had to dress really slouchy every single day, do you think that you would feel confident to go out and talk to people or to approach people? Answer is probably no. And it's not that you have to go out and buy the most expensive clothing and wear designer brands. It's not about that. It's about feeling good about the way you look. If you look at yourself in the mirror, would you want to approach you? Would you feel comfortable if someone dressed like you would come towards you? Or would you rather try and avoid them? It's silly little things. And it's not about dressing in your office attire every single day. I like being pretty casual. But what I realized is that I got to a point where I would go out and be too casual. So now, even if I'm going out in more sporty attire, I make sure that I'm wearing nice fitting clothing, and that I look decent. And that if the image is of a sporty person that I want to portray, that I actually look like that and not someone who slept in their tracksuit pants and just went and carried on the day dressed like that. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. And also nutrition. Going back to what you're feeding yourself on a daily basis. If you keep on feeding yourself sugary, bad foods and processed foods, some of you may be able to relate to this if you think back to your pre-Herbalife days, because we definitely don't do things like that anymore. Where you eat those foods and how it affects your mood. Where one minute you feel happy and joyous and the next minute you feel depressed and you want to go and sit in a corner and hide. Getting physical exercise in, how important that is. And I'm talking more and more to my clients about this as well. Exercise does not mean you have to sign up for a gym contract and go to the gym. Just get out and walk a bit. I have a couple of clients who are struggling with emotional eating, and my advice to them is when you know those triggers are going to hit where the emotional eating kicks in, recognize it for what it is and step out of the situation. Go and walk around the block if you have to. If you're in an office situation, get out of the office and take a quick break outside. Do something to get yourself out of that, because just that little switch that you make helps you to step away from what's going to cause you to go in the wrong direction. And then from a mental point of view, stretching your mind and developing good thinking habits. Things are like your reading habits. What are you reading? I touched on that earlier on. And if you're not sure where to start, and for those of you who've been with me on focus groups and things before, you guys know I love this book, Darren Hardy and the Compound Effect. It's a brilliant book because it's like a workbook. It tells you where to get started. What are the basic things that you can start focusing on and changing? And it's about developing a growth mindset. You need to see each challenge and opportunity as an opportunity that comes your way to learn from it. Failure, I heard a brilliant thing. I'm doing a nutrition course with my personal trainer, and my lesson that I had on Friday said, you need to see failure as feedback. Failure isn't failure. Failure, if you did something wrong, it's a feedback for you to tell you how you can be better, how you can start to make changes. So yes, you are going to get things wrong. There are going to be things that you're not happy with, but learn from it. Don't beat yourself up over it. So those are opportunities for you to grow and to become better. So I like that thinking of developing a growth mindset. How can you stretch your mind? How can you improve your capabilities? Thanks, Bia. Then there's a thing called outcome-based decision-making. And this is also a good place to start. And the simple question there is, are your choices giving you the results that you want? And this is where your past experience is actually going to be the evidence that you're looking for. As an example, when you're looking at things like weight loss or getting into a better shape, did things like eating very restrictively really work for you? Or did it actually send you on a rebound binge? When we look at things like exercise, did the expensive running shoes or the brilliant expensive gym contract really inspire you to get moving? Or is it just another piece of paper that you signed, the gym contract, and are those shoes sitting in the back of your cupboard gathering dust? Those things aren't necessarily going to be the motivator to get you going. And on the business side of things, did sitting in front of the TV for 4 hours and browsing around on social media for 3 hours get you closer to becoming debt-free or buying your dream house or car or going on the dream vacation, whatever your goals are? This is where we need to get really serious with ourselves and honest with ourselves and ask us that what we've done before, the activities we've taken on before, has it resulted in the things that we wanted to achieve? If the answer is no, then hello, there's your answer. That's where you need to start making the changes. Thanks, Bia. Okay, but change can be really overwhelming for a lot of people. And oftentimes we realize, oh, but this area I need to change, that I need to change, that I need to change, that I need to change. How am I ever going to manage? And we get overwhelmed, and then we end up running away and sitting in the corner and saying, oh my goodness, there's too many things, I'm not even going to attempt to try and change anything. So we also often start with the wrong thinking. We think about what we don't want, and we all know that what we think we get. So don't say, I don't want to be carrying excess body fat, as an example. You're on the right track because it's something that you don't want, but it's not going to give you a clear action plan of how you're going to go about to achieve it. You have to keep going from there and define what it is that you do want. So now that you know what you don't want, how about saying, I want to be lean and healthy with solid, dense bones and muscle? That makes a big difference. And it also then starts giving you a blueprint from where you can start taking action. Thanks, Bia. And this is something that I love. This is something that's come out of my nutrition course that I'm doing. It's called Taking a 5-Minute Action. And it's about starting simple. You know your life, your body, your health, your mind, your needs, and your abilities. Pick one improvement that you would like to make. Even if you need to work on all of those areas, just pick one. And break that one improvement down into a very, very, very small and simple chunk. And it has to be a chunk that you can do in 5 to 10 minutes. And I'll give you guys a simple example here. my 5-minute action that I've had for the last 2 weeks is to eat slowly. It sounds like something really stupid, but I cannot tell you how being committed to just doing something as simple as that. I didn't have to focus on anything else as far as my nutrition was concerned this week. This is all I had to do. 1 5-minute action every single day that I can do without fail. And I have to report back and tick that I've actually done the 5-minute action. What it has resulted in is I'm actually eating less. My portions have automatically become smaller as a result because I'm eating slower. I'm being more mindful about eating. And the scary thing is this isn't stuff that I didn't know before. But because I'm committed to doing this simple action every single day, it has a knock-on effect in so many other areas. And that's all I've had to focus on for the last 2 weeks. So my goal for the next 2 weeks that kicked in today is to only eat 80% of what is on my plate. So again, keeping the eating slowly and keeping the eating mindfulness going, eating 80% less of what is actually on my plate will help me to eat even smaller portions. So not depriving myself, but really forcing me to check what I'm doing with my portion sizes. And I don't know for anyone else, but for me in winter, that is something that I struggle with because it's cold and you want to eat a bit more. So the food is healthy, but if I'm eating too much, you're eating too much. Too many calories, not burning enough calories, it's going to have a bad effect. So that's a nice little thing that you can do. So take that 5-minute action and focus on it for the next 2 weeks, because then after the 2 weeks, that will become part and parcel. It will be really be an automatic habit. So don't start a big project or get over ambitious, and don't overthink it either. You need to be 100% confident that whatever you decide your 5-minute action to be, that you can do it every single day without fail. And other examples I've given you there is reading something like a personal development book or listening to audio just for 5 minutes. Sometimes we think we need to read 6 chapters or we need to spend an hour on personal development. It's no good doing an hour today and then you skip the next 3 days because you feel you don't have an hour that you can allocate for personal development. Rather take 5 minutes every single day. Those little drips of information that you're feeding yourself is going to do you far better than trying to get yourself to commit for an hour and causing stress for in a lot of other areas. It could be something like a 5-minute call to your mentor or your sponsor, reporting on the activities that you've done. It could be things to progress your business, posting things like client results, sharing those types of things on Facebook or on your social media, or placing ads. And I've actually got a good suggestion for you guys of something that you can do that's actually quite fun. Thanks, Pia. Next slide. It's called the destination postcard. So imagine if you could get a postcard from the future. The postcard shows you exactly what you want to happen with your journey. It could be 6 months from now, it could be a year from now, it doesn't matter. But it's like the future you arrived at your destination and sent you back a postcard to tell you how awesome it is on the other side. So if your goal is to be 10% body fat down 6 months from now, write that future destination postcard for yourself of what it would look like, how you would feel in 6 months from now, having dropped 10% body fat. How different would you dress? What would you be wearing on that day? What are the activities you would be taking part in, because now you have more energy and you're feeling better? So the destination postcard tells you what you want, not what you don't want. Next slide, please, Bia. So you can come up with your own destination postcard. In a year from today, in an ideal world, where do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? What do you want to feel? What do you want to look like? What adventures do you want to be having? And it's not about how realistic it is right now. Just write down those things that you can envision for yourself in a year from now. Thanks, Bia. So however you choose to envision the future 1 year from now, imagine it. And the more visual you are in terms of how you capture it, the more real you start to make it. Doing something like a vision board, or if you are someone who's on your phone the whole time and you love something like Pinterest, creating your own boards and pinning your own posts to that specific board. And this idea I actually liked a lot, writing a letter to your future self and having it delivered to you a year from now. That is also a really cool idea, to in a year from now, read that letter and see what you've predicted for yourself will actually happen. And remember what you think you get. So not just thinking about it, penning it down, putting it down in pictures, it makes it more real. And that's what your brain will focus on. So it makes it just a little bit more real for today, and just have fun with it. It's really a cool exercise. Thanks, Pia. But there's always a but. This is where the T's and C's apply, like they say in the adverts on TV. Change is a push, it is a struggle, it is a challenge, but there isn't any winning without a challenge. This is what life is all about. It's the struggle and the challenge to develop ourselves and our skills to see what we can create in the way of value in the marketplace. And this is awesome. This is what we do as Herbalife health coaches. We want to create value in the marketplace, and we know what value we have. So it's just sometimes getting out of our own way and making things happen. New habits do not come easy, but they definitely can be developed. We can all learn to change. It's one thing to be motivated, but it's another thing to be disciplined and take daily action. And this is why I love the 5-minute action so much, because it's not like I have to do a million things in one day and change the whole year. But as we know from the compound effect, sometimes just being consistent, not sometimes, being consistent with those little daily actions over a period of time, that's when momentum kicks in. That's where the growth happens. So it's not about how big the action is you're taking right now. It's the fact that you're taking action and that you're doing it consistently every single day in and out. And once you're committed to that goal, trust me, the challenges are going to come. But if you're clear about your goal, why you're wanting to achieve that goal, and how you're going to about doing it, then those challenges are just there to mold you into the person that you need to become, to really appreciate where you're going to be at when you reach that goal that you focused on. Next slide, please, Bia. This is a brilliant little clip. I think if you click on the image, Bia, there should be a play button. There we go.
Some distributors say, well, geez, I'd have an incredible attitude. You give me one of those President's Team buttons, I'll have an incredible attitude. Get your attitude over here. Listen, if you gave me a $700,000 check like Alan Lorenz, I'd have a wonderful attitude. But unfortunately, that's not the way it works. Here's how it works. To be successful, you have an attitude first, then the money comes. You have faith first, and then the money comes. You have incredible loyalty to the company, then it works. That's how it works.
Okay, from the master himself, Mr. Mark Hughes. And often we look at people who are successful and we think that they had luck along the way, or if we had what they have, then it would also be easy. And we don't always know what sits behind that pin, or that level that the person has achieved, or the specific goal the person has achieved, the personal challenges that they had to go through to achieve those levels, or that measure of success in life. It's like an iceberg. We only see what's sticking out on top of the water. We don't know what's sitting underneath that led to the growth to become that person. And in Herbalife, they always say that you need to become the person first before you get that pin for the next level. And this is what personal development is all about. You're not going to get there if you're not doing the work to learn the skills, to develop and become the person you need to be to get to those next levels. And success is something that you attract by becoming an attractive person. So if you really had to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, would I want to be coached by you? Would I want to follow you if I know what you're doing behind closed doors with your eating? Or are you preaching one thing and doing something different? All of these things matter. We think because no one else sees that it doesn't make a difference, but it does, because that affects your attitude, and that affects how you interact with other people. So learn from these experiences from the past and invest them in the future. And in closing, there's a brilliant little thing that I want to share with you guys. It's called Quit Tomorrow. Now, soldiers who go through the Special Forces training, like the Navy SEALs and even the Canadian Navy SEALs, there's a brilliant concept that they developed called Quit Tomorrow. And I'm sure some of you have seen on television already how rigorous the training is that those people go through, how grueling it is, not just physically, but how it starts affecting them mentally. And they basically have a rule where they say, while I'm struggling through whatever it is I'm struggling through, as much as I feel I want to quit, I will not allow myself to quit now while I'm in this challenge. I'll get to the end of the day, and if tomorrow morning I open up my eyes and I still feel like quitting, then I'll quit. What happens though, because they push through, as difficult as it was, by the time they get to the next day, they look back on yesterday and say, okay, I've got a couple of scrapes and bruises and I'm feeling a bit battered, but you know what, I'm still standing. I'm ready for today. Let's take on today. And then that feeling of wanting to quit actually goes away. So if there's one thing you guys take away from tonight, is remember to rather quit tomorrow. Even if the whole world feels like it's coming down on you sometimes, don't let it get you down. Tell yourself, I'll quit tomorrow. And when tomorrow comes around, you're looking at things through different eyes and through a different perspective, and chances are probably that you won't quit and you'll say, you know what, that was actually awesome, I learned from it, let's do better today. Thanks, Beat. Jim Rohn, to finish off, he said you can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. And I think that's all we just need to focus on and strive to do. Thanks so much, guys. I hope you got some value out of this.
This was absolutely special, Liesl. It was even better than the first time I heard you. And I just want to unmute also that we can hear if there are any questions to you. Any questions? Any comments to Liesl?
No question.
Well done, Liesl.
Yeah, it was really
Absolutely
awesome.
fabulous. I loved it.
Thanks, guys.
Always
Thank you, Liesl.
Thank you, Liesl. Well done.
You rock, Liesl.
Well done, Liesl. Mean a lot for me. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, Elsa.
Me too,
Awesome.
Liesl. You've really added some value today, and there were so many things that I wrote down here that I'm going to look at and concentrate on. Thank you very much.
Only a pleasure.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your feedback, Liesl. Thank you very much again. And I just want to go back to what Mark Hughes always liked to say. The most important is the next 24 hours. So a course, a training, a online webinar, what we had just now, the most you get out of it when you put something from it into action the next 24 hours. So don't think too much about it. Rather, I'm sure something stuck out from what Liesl said tonight, and you made either a mental note, make that a physical note immediately, and start to put it into action. I like that idea of rather take a 5-minute action, a 5-minute change, I name it now, yeah, instead of just thinking, oh, it was actually a nice call. It was not just a nice call. I loved it, Liesl. It was absolutely special. And some people would pay a lot of money to get to a training like that. So thank you very much again. I just want to run everybody through quickly to the actual promotion so that we are all on the same page when it comes to the promotion. Let me just go to the next slide here. So everybody knows about the Club 500 promotion. And this Club 500 promotion starts actually every month new for those who haven't participated yet or who dropped out in between. So never lose track if you're a member from getting into the 500 plus. This is basically developing and can give you also a goal and a guideline to follow through to qualify for your next level, to qualify for whatever you want to achieve, because it helps you automatically to build the right architecture. So print it, have it in front of you, and make with your sponsor a plan to get there. Similar for all the supervisors. There's the Club 1000 plus. And actually all the members, you glide automatically in this Club 1000 club. You even don't know it right now when you follow your Club 500. So it's very simple. It's still on the NutriBullet promotion, and there's a special last 5-minute promotion for supervisors, which started at the end of last year and which ends in August. So better get clear about your supervisor promotion for all the supervisors here on the call. Leadership Development Weekend, final call. The plane is starting soon, so you better get your tickets for the LDW in Joburg, Cape Town, It's going to be a rocking leadership development weekend. For those who are close to qualify or have qualified already, get your tickets, make anything possible to be there. And it's still time to qualify for the absolutely awesome vacations. You just need to get the planning right. You can postpone. And there are many here on the call right now who did it before. They thought about it and they thought it's too late. And in December, they realized, oops, I actually could have made it when I would have started at the right time. So rather get your focus on and be with us either in Miami, Tenerife, or Zanzibar. Look at this destination. I mean, it's absolutely magnificent. And then we have the extravaganza coming up in Madrid. For those who are serious leaders, they know about Madrid. I don't want to go there into detail, but definitely the extravaganza in South Africa should be all for us on in our diary, and we should book the tickets now already, should get organized already. It's more the question, how many members do you take with you to this extravaganza? This will make the change for you in your business and everything what's going to happen. So from the 13th till the 15th of October, and Saturday, Sunday is open for all members. And on Friday, there's a training for the supervisor. So all members here on the call, you're going to make it for supervisor before October, so then you're in the supervisor training as well. But more exciting for me is the qualification for the gala dinner. When you're a supervisor and you reach 3 consecutive months, a minimum of 2,500 total volume points, July, August, September, and in these 3 months you help at least 2 personal sponsored members to achieve their 3 consecutive months 500 PPV, meaning that they get the NutriBullet. You are in the gala dinner. So great achievement, and it's not too late to get focused on this and to be in the gala dinner, not just at the extravaganza, be in the gala dinner. And closing with Liesel's quote, which is a very special quote, you can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. So thanks back to Liesel again, and let's have an awesome week. We have next week's interesting call coming up with achievers who have achieved 3 consecutive months 500 PPV, and one we have just now on the call, it's Shireen. She has actually done her 3rd month 500 PPV already in the beginning of July. So this is going to be a rocking call, I can tell you already. There's lots to learn, not just for members, also for all of us as supervisors. Thank you very much. Thank you, Liesel. And the focus group is meeting just now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, dear. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.